Alright, so I'm sitting in the car waiting to go into Sam's Club for my membership, like hours to start or whatever. I wanted to go ahead and do my breastfeeding video. I had made one already. I uploaded it and everything, but something went wrong with something went wrong and it didn't take it, and I had to delete the footage already, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make another one. Rose started breastfeeding since the day she was born. As soon as I got to the room and I asked for them to bring her to the room, I started breastfeeding her right away. It was very difficult at first. She would latch to one side but not the other. I would get frustrated and like I was exhausted. I would get frustrated because she wasn't eating, and I did not want them to give her formula, because once they give her formula, like that's it. She's not gonna want breast milk. She's gonna want the formula. But I kept going. They had the breastfeeding specialist come in, and she was trying to help me. My sister, who was a breastfeeding counselor, came to visit me, and she helped me. She gave me a lot of tips and advice on it. When I got home, what I was doing was I was putting them on my phone, like when I started, when I stopped, what side it was on. So at first I did it into like my memos. I was like, okay, like started at 9:30 and at like 9:50 left side all the time. And I would do that, and I'll do her BMs, like what time she pooped. So that way I knew that if she's peeing or pooping, that she's getting something into her body. So I continued to do that for a while, and then after a while I actually found an app that I had liked, which I don't have it no more. It was on my other phone. I can't remember what it's called, but all you have to do is press start and stop. And then once she got about maybe a month old, I kind of stopped, because she was peeing and pooping and she was latching on pretty good. So I stopped with that. So what we ended up, I stopped like documenting it, like, because I knew like more or less how much she was eating and when she was eating, and she would eat when she was hungry. And then the only times they would ask me when I would go take her to her checkups was, okay, well, is she eating for this long or how many times a day? And it would just vary. But yeah, so we've been breastfeeding for 10 months. She's 10 months old. I want to continue for at least 2 more months until she's 12 months old. Pumping at work. I went back to work after 3 months, and I would pump 4 times a day. I would pump once in the morning before I went to work, and I would get about an ounce out of it. For the first month, 2 months after I went back to work, I was pumping 12 ounces. After that, I decreased down to 10, and after a while to 8. Like just started decreasing. And now the more that she's eating real food, not really breastfeeding. She does breastfeed at night. That's the time she feeds the most. Like that's a comfort thing. She'll feed throughout the night. But now I'm pumping at work. So at work I would pump 3 times. I would pump between 8 and 9, 10, 12 and 1, and 3 and 4. I would pump between those times at work whenever I was able to have time to go to another building and pump. So my supervisors and my the higher ups, the ones there in the office, they were really first shocked and surprised that I was asking to breast pump, because nobody's really done that. Like a lot of people just go to formula right away. And for me, I was so passionate and so like stubborn about it. I wanted to breastfeed. I wanted to breast pump at work. And because I work with a state job, it's automatically that there's the law that they have to let me go. So, but telling my supervisors, like, I have to go pump, like, they would get confused at first. One of them was like, pump what? Pump gas? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go pump gas. To explain to her, I was like, I have to pump for my daughter so I can give her milk. They're like, oh, okay. And like a lot of times my coworkers would see me going to the other building, like, where are you going? What are you doing? I'm like, I've gotta go over here. They're like, why? I'm like, to pump. They're like, what's that? I'm like, to pump like milk. They're like, oh, okay. And a lot of male staff was like, oh, okay, like, oh, or you didn't have to tell me that. I'm like, well, yeah, you asked me what I was doing, and it's not like a secret, and I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm actually very proud of the fact that I've been able to go for so long. And it wasn't until Rose turned 10 months that I actually went down from 3 times a day to twice a day. When she had turned, I think it was 8 months, that I stopped my pumping in the morning, because she usually woke up with me. She wouldn't stay asleep anymore. Between 8 and 9 months, she wouldn't stay asleep anymore. So I would just feed her in the morning, or if she actually did stay asleep, I just didn't pump anymore, because I wasn't really, if she was awake and she ate for me, then I wouldn't get anything out with pumping, and that's just wasting time in the morning. So I had stopped pumping in the morning when she was between 8 and 9 months, and then I cut down my pumping. I cut down one of my pumpings when she turned 10 months, which was like this past week. And so what I did was I changed the times from those times I just said to 10 and 2. That way it's like in between those, so that way it's like, it's just lengthening the time apart that I went to go pump. It's been alright. I've been pumping about 5 ounces when I was already barely getting to like 6 ounces, 7 ounces previously. So now that I'm just pumping twice, I've been getting out like 5 ounces, and she's not even drinking that much anymore, because she's been eating a lot more whole foods. So she's been only drinking about between 4 and 6 ounces a day. And then of course she feeds at night. When I get home, she'll usually show me that she wants Chi-Chi. I call her Chi-Chi. She usually shows me that she wants Chi-Chi, because she'll like start pulling out my shirt, and she'll and she'll like move her head down to where my boobs are, so she could be able to eat. And then I'll ask her like, do you want Chi-Chi? And she's like, like yes. So I'll feed her when we're out and about. Before, even now, I really don't care anymore. I have walked through HEB breastfeeding, like I just openly, because she was fussy and she was hungry. We were already getting ready to leave, but she kept wanting it and just like starting to throw tantrums. So I was like, okay, fine. So I gave it to her because she was just hungry. She wanted her milk. So I would pull my shirt. If my shirt's low enough from the top, I'll just pull it down so I don't have to lift anything up. I'll just pull it down, let her latch on. When I went to get my car, I did not really have a choice because I completely forgot to bring a breast cover. So I just would feed her there. Like, I wouldn't do it in front of like, oh, look at me breastfeed and throw it out there. Like, no, I would just, okay, well, I have to do this. So I would go somewhere that wasn't like less populated and breastfeed. If I don't have a choice, I'll breastfeed her in public. I don't care. Like, she's hungry, she's gonna eat. I have gotten a lot of stares. One time when I was walking through Walmart, she was fussy. I was just running errands. My last thing was to go pick up some groceries and go home. She was fussy, so this was like midway through shopping. I laid her across like the basket that you push. I laid her across there and I was breastfeeding her, and I did get a lot of stares. And nobody's come up to me to tell me anything when I breastfeed in public. Before, when she was younger, I would either have the cover over, but after a while she got really tired of it. She didn't want the cover no more. So now she'll just like move it out of the way. Like, she doesn't like anything over her head, and it's hot, so why would she want something over her head? So I've breastfed in public before. I really don't see an issue with it. Like, once you've done it for so long, like so many months, like I've been breastfeeding for 10 months already, like I really don't care. Like, I will breastfeed her and it doesn't bother me if people stare. To me, my boobs aren't sexualized. Like, I don't think they're sexy. Like, cleavage, yes, like a little bit of cleavage showing, yeah, I think that is sexy. But my boobs right now that they're servicing, they're giving a service. I'm using them to feed her, so I don't see them as like, ooh, my boobs are sexy. Like look at my nipple. Like, no, I see it as that's where she eats from. Like, I don't see it as sexy. So when guys joke around with me, they're like, oh, well, give me some, or they'll tell me, save me some, or like num num num, and I'm like, ew, like that's nasty, because all I think about it is like, that's her food. Like, you're weird. Pain wise, it did hurt a little bit in the beginning. Like, I did have cracked nipples. I did use some creams on them, and it helped. Now that she has teeth, she has 8 teeth, and I think she's getting a few more. Now that she has teeth, it's I wouldn't say as she'll bite me every now and then. She doesn't bite like every single day or anything like that. Every now and then she'll bite, but she doesn't mean to. I guess it's just because she's trying to get a good latch on, and her teeth will end up grazing me. What she does, it's kind of annoying, is she plays musical boob with me. She'll go from one to the other, to the other, to the other, like back and forth, and it's so annoying. Or she'll have to put her hand on the other. She'll be on one and she'll put her hand on the other one, and I'm like, seriously? Like, no. And I'll pull my shirt down so she doesn't touch it, because it's just kind of like annoying. It feels weird and it's annoying, so I'm like, no, like, leave it alone. But yeah, that's so far my journey with breastfeeding. I think it's gonna be very difficult to wean her off. When she turns a year, so far I don't have any permanent plans of what I'm gonna do. I think we're just gonna go with the flow and see what happens. I'm thinking though that we're probably gonna stop daytime feeding and just feed for like naps and stuff when I actually am home, because that's what she does now. Is like, she won't drink her bottle throughout the day. She drinks them for naps to go to sleep, and then she goes to sleep. So and then she'll breastfeed. I'm pretty sure she'll breastfeed for a while at night, and so I guess we'll just wait and see how that is. But yeah, that's my breastfeeding story. Yeah, so we're gonna go pick up some diapers and wipes real quick and take off. So I will see y'all later. If you have any questions about breastfeeding, anything I've done, I did try taking a couple of like pills to help me breastfeed and tease. I didn't really see a difference. The only thing I did see a difference in is eating oatmeal, drinking lots of water has helped. It helps maintain the amount that comes out. Other than that, like the teas and the pills, not really. They really didn't. I didn't see a difference. Some people, it's different for some people, but for me, I didn't see a difference. But yeah, I will see y'all later. Y'all have a good day. Bye.